All right. Welcome, roomies and zoomies. Um, we're going to do something a little bit. We have some new faces today. So we're going to do something a little bit different. How many people here have done a lot of yoga? Okay. How many people have done some yoga? How many people have never done yoga before? Anybody? All right. We have a whole mix, which is perfect for today. We are going to try to, as we go through class today, I just invite you to try to find the Goldilocks spot. What's your Goldilocks class for today? Yeah, just because I'm doing something one way doesn't mean that you have to do it the same way. So I'm inviting you today to really check in with your body and see what is that perfect place in each of the things that we do today. So we'll do a little moving and then we'll do a little holding of poses and investigate them a little bit more than we do sometimes. And let's start standing up. So first things first, plant your feet on the earth. Maybe play a little bit with rocking front to back. Where's your balance today? Maybe rock your feet side to side. Let's see where you like to stand on your feet. We've got all sorts of different things going on here. It's great. Check out your feet. Pick up your toes. Put them down once and see if you can spread your toes out a little bit. Give your feet some space. And then let your knees bend a little bit. Draw your spine up tall. Take your shoulders, draw them back, drop them down your back. If it feels good, shut your eyes. Because the first thing we're going to do is just a little check in from the top of the head to the bottoms of the feet. Just notice how you're feeling today. Notice any places that feel a little tight or uncomfortable. Notice those places that are maybe recovering from injury. Notice how your energy is today. Maybe you're coming in here looking for a really relaxed practice. Maybe you're chomping at the bit and you want to fire it up a little bit today. Notice how you're breathing. Just notice where you can even feel your breath in your body. How do you know you're breathing? See if you can notice your rib cage expand in all the directions, front, side, and back. Given all of those things, what do you need from your practice today? I invite you to set an intention for yourself. And then let your fingers wiggle, let your body rock a little back and forth. And we're going to warm up from the top to the bottom today. So take your head and make tiny circles like you're drawing a circle on a mirror in front of you with your nose. Working just right at the top of the spine. And switch and go the other way. And then really gently drop your chin down toward your chest. Check in with the back of your neck. How's it feeling today? Come just to neutral. So bring your head back up and then drop it down a couple more times. Just noticing. Good. On this next one, maybe go up and take a look at the ceiling. You don't have to go up real far. Just notice heads go back too. Bring it back to center. Go gently right and left. Maybe one side moves easily. Maybe the other side is a little sticky. Or maybe they both just slide back and forth fine. Good. Drop your chin down and take a little half circle around. Notice if the rest of your body would like to move with this. If it does, let that happen. Let your background. Good. And then come on back to center. We'll take both shoulders forward because I think forward is harder than backward. So we do the hard thing first. The shoulders today. And we'll circle and go backwards. Maybe you make some noise. I'm making a little noise up here, a little snap, crackle, pop in the shoulders. Take both arms wide. Goofy thing, we haven't done this before. Take your body side to side. And then bring your arms down. Put your hands on your legs. We're going to take our hips side to side without our legs helping. So, yeah, and if that sounds crazy, it's going to feel even crazier. Take it a little side to side. You're going to feel these abdominal muscles turn on. Nobody's going to be able to see your hips move. Can you feel it? Okay. Let your legs in on the action. Take your hips side to side. Just as far as feels good. And then maybe circle them around one direction. Check it in with the hips. Take them the other way. All right, this is still going to be hips, but focus on your knees. Take a few circles each direction. Good. And then draw your spine up really tall. Take a big inhale, spread your fingers wide, give your body some energy. See how that feels. Energy all the way down to cactus. Fire up your back. Take it up. Again, fire up the muscles of your legs too as you drop it down. Is that your practice for today? Is it going to be an engaged practice? Or maybe float your arms up. No effort. Maybe that's what we need today. Good. Leave your arms up and reach a little side to side in a way that feels good for you. And if it doesn't feel good to have your arms over your head, feel free to bring your fingers to your shoulders or drop your arms down. Good. Bring your hands down in front of you. Lace your fingers, turn them inside out. We'll be working our wrists a little bit today. Inhale up. How's that feel? And if it's not good, don't go there. Let your back round. Inhale up only as far as feels good to you. Exhale, let your back round. Good. Go ahead and release your hands. Let's inhale all the way up. Take a forward fold. Go easy. Let your knees bend a bunch. Roll yourself all the way up. And bring your shoulders back. All right, if you're new to yoga, this is called chair pose. We're going to sit up. You don't have to take your arms overhead. You could just bring them heart center. Take your hips back. And by that I mean not knees forward, hips back. Like you're going to sit in a little chair and it's a little bit too far back. Go to the daddy bear chair first, the big one. And inhale up, arms up if you like. Sit down into mama bear chair. It's a little smaller. Maybe that's the chair for today. Come all the way up. Either of those two are fine. Or if you like, drop all the way down. Find yourself a baby bear chair. Good. We tested them all out. Go back to the one that feels best to you today. Hang out there. Yeah, you could stay still, or if it feels nice, you could walk your feet a little bit. Check in with that. Notice your low back. If you notice you're bringing a little tension to your low back, come up a little bit. Back off a bit. And we'll inhale all the way up. Forward fold. Let's investigate forward fold a little bit. So go ahead and put your hands on your thighs. Let your head hang down. Bend your knees as much as feels good to you. And then play with straightening your legs. Maybe legs a little straighter, maybe a little more bent. Where's your Goldilocks forward fold today? What feels just right? Let your knees bend a whole lot and roll yourself up. Good. And then let's forward fold, go to that place That's your forward fold for today. Bring your hands to your shins. Come up into half lift. So bring your back up parallel to the floor. You could let your knees bend and lift your tailbone. It's a little more intense stretch, or you could keep it soft, or you could even come back to forward fold. And then let your knees bend a bunch, and we'll roll all the way up. Good. Take your feet a little wider and just rock back and forth, playing with a little bit of balance here. Good. Stop on one side and hold, and then rock again. Stop on the other side and hold. Oh, let's do one more time to each side. So rock a little bit, and then hold. Nice. Rock a little bit, and hold. Nice. And let that go. Shake it out. Let's come to the top of the mat. So narrow edge of the mat. Take both arms up, a big inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come to half lift. We're just going to move this a little bit. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Do what you like with your arms. They don't have to go overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. We'll change it up this time just a little bit. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come to half lift. Drop your hips back to whatever your Goldilocks chair is today and reach your arms forward. See how that is. What is it like with arms forward? Maybe bring them heart center. Maybe placing them on your legs. Lift your heart. Exhale, forward fold. And we'll inhale all the way up. Good. Leave your right foot forward. Leave your left foot forward. Take your right foot back. Notice what you did naturally. How far back did you step? Shorten it a little bit. Take your arms out. Leave them soft. Maybe that's too much. Put your hands on your hips. That might be your warrior today. But maybe not. Maybe it's bigger. Maybe we reach the arms away. Maybe we draw them in and we fire up the back. Maybe we take that back foot and walk it back a little bit. Maybe we sink it down. You decide. Good. Take your gaze over your right or your front fingers and then take them up to the sky if that feels good. Or put them on your head. And then let's bring that left elbow to the left knee. Take your right hand across the horizon. When you get to the top, option. So whatever leg is in front, that's the arm. That's on the elbow is on the. Yep. So if it's left leg, it's left elbow. And the other one's the reacher. Okay? But it doesn't have to reach. It could be here. If you wanted to fire this up a little bit, maybe you would reach your other arm out. If you would want to back off a little bit, maybe let your arms rest. Let's come all the way back up to warrior two. And then cartwheel down, frame your front foot, pivot your back foot in, and just step forward, find your forward fold again, let it go. And just notice. And then hands to thighs, and we'll roll up all the way up to the top again. Take your right foot forward and left foot back, unless you were on the other side. Notice how far you naturally stepped. Bring your back foot in a little bit. Soft arms come up. Yep, so whatever leg's in front, that's the arm that's reaching out in front, or you could come to your hips. Good, so maybe this is your warrior today, your warrior two. Or maybe you step back, maybe you sink it in, maybe you fire up your arms and your back. Press down with your feet. Turn your front palm up. If you like, take it to the sky, or rest it on your head, or bring it back by your side. Come back up through warrior two. Turn your feet forward. See how that feels. We got kind of a wide stance here. Start to let your body rock. So whatever the long edge of your mat is, that's where we're facing. Like you could draw your fingertips along the long edge. And we're just letting hips slide back and forth. Good modifications. And maybe it'd feel good to bring some shoulders into this. Just doing a little mobility here, loosening up our bodies. Good. And work your way all the way back up. Turn your toes out, heels in. Take both arms to the sky. You could sink down soft and don't go very far, right? It's just really nice and relaxed. Nice. You could stay with that. Or you could reach up, grab your bear claws, and scratch your way down a wall. Fire up your back and your arms. Scratch it down. Good. Imagine sinking your feet into the ground so we're also pushing with legs, or not. We're keeping it soft. Hold this last one down. Bring your hands heart center. Let your feet walk a little bit, if you like. If you like, come to toes on both sides. Yeah, firing up our legs. Can you have engaged legs but soft hands? Catch some raindrops. Good. Let's take it all the way back up and float it down. Turn your left foot out. Turn your right foot in a little bit. Come to warrior two again. Whatever your warrior two is today, right? And we're just going to flow it a little bit. That could be right here. It could be just a little bit of torso mobility, working from the belly, or maybe it's here. Maybe you bring those long arms in. Find your Goldilocks flow here. Whatever leg is in front, that's the elbow that comes to the knee. It frees up that other arm to move. Yep. Let's do one more like that. And then come back to warrior two. Reach forward, only as far as feels good to you. And then let that front leg straighten and bring that hand down to your side, or to your inside your thigh. Triangle doesn't have to be this, right? It's not about reaching the ground. It's about making some space. And if that's way up here, that's perfect. Keep your triangle legs and rotate your left arm to the sky. Good. Let's come back to center. Turn your toes forward. Forward fold here. Wide leg forward fold. Let your knees bend as much as you like. You could stabilize yourself on your thighs. You could reach to the floor. You could grab elbows. You could rock. And then hands to thighs, and we'll come all the way back up. Turn your right foot out. We'll find our warrior two on the opposite side. Reach your arms out or not. We'll start to rock either with arms reached or not. Maybe all the way back into peaceful warrior and side angle. You choose the range of motion. You choose the arms. Good. One more like that. Come back to warrior two. Reach forward. So we're reaching out over that knee, and then let your front leg straighten. That pulls the hand down. Here we are in triangle. You don't have to touch the floor, just have to make some space. Good. Keep your triangle legs. Rotate your body up. And then come back to center. Let's take feet and just step in. We'll play with a little bit of balance. Totally fine to go to the wall. You at home, grab a chair. Coming into tree pose. So root your right foot down and then kickstand your left foot. Right there, tree pose. Could be here, could be here, could be here. You choose what kind of tree you want to be today. Okay? Option to root that right foot down and lift your left foot up. You could just hold it, or you could connect it with the leg. See if you can keep it off your knee. Do whatever you like with your arms. I have this thing, if your foot goes to your knee, mine just kind of naturally does. Just don't push on it and it doesn't matter. But if you want to push on it, put it down below your knee or above your knee. Good. And step out. We'll do the same on the other side. So root your left foot down. You decide what you're going to do with your right foot. You could bring your hands heart center. You could float that foot. You could attach the foot. You could get some branches. Good modifications. Nice, slide down, let that go. And because we have new people, we always do this thing. And we'll go back to this one. So take your fingers and put them together. And then take your right hand and circle it forward, like you're throwing a pebble in a pond. So it goes away from you. Yep. Stop. Take your left hand and circle it back towards you like you're throwing a pebble down your shirt. And stop. Take your right hand forward and stop. Left hand back and stop. Right hand forward and stop. Left hand back. One more like that. Right goes forward, left goes back. Option to do them both at once and just see what happens. Triangles and squares and all sorts of stuff. Does one hand follow the other? And is it your non-dominant hand that follows your dominant hand, or can you tell? Good. Take your arms off to the side and just let that go. All right. Big inhale up, bring hands heart center. Let's come down to fours, to all fours. And here's the thing. That might not feel great on knees. So here's the thing you can always do. You always have a yoga mat with you in yoga, probably. Fold your mat. Move it so the zoomies can see. Fold your mat so you have this cushy spot. Put your left knee on, or your knees on that. Put both knees on it. We'll come into a cat-cow. Yeah, so once we get comfy, cozy knees, press your back up into cat. And inhale through to cow. So a little back mobility. We tend to get stiff in our thoracic bodies. So just simply moving, right? Find a little motion side to side. Maybe there's a sticky spot. Explore it, investigate it a little bit. Maybe wagging the tail is the way to go today. Maybe bringing left shoulder close to left hip and then right shoulder close to right hip. Good. And then we're going to sit back. We'll do two things. Everybody puppy dog, meaning bring your arms out. Let your hips stay up and drop your upper body down as far as feels good. But hips stay up. You don't have to take your hips to your feet. You don't have to have straight arms. You could bend your arms. You could put your forehead on your fists. Or you could sit all the way back to child's pose, taking knees wide and bringing hips down closer to your ankles. Again, arms could be in, out, fists could be stacked. What's your Goldilocks puppy dog or child's pose today? Can you allow your belly to be soft? Can you imagine growing a little lighter with each inhale? Sinking in a bit with each exhale? One more option while we're here. It might feel nice to take your hands off to the right. I like to stack my left on my right hand, but if that's too much sensation, just put it next to it. And then let your left hip be heavy. So arms are reaching off to the right, left hip's a little heavier. We're getting a big stretch down our left side body, if we're choosing this shape. And then walk across to the other side. Same thing. If you like to stack your right on your left, you could. You could let your right hip be a little heavier. Imagine growing a little lighter with each inhale, a little heavier with each exhale. And then let's gently walk back up to all fours and shake that out. Just let your body move. Take your right leg behind you, toes to the mat. Option to float the leg up. Try to stay about hip height. And if you like, add your left arm. And that might be an inch off the ground, or it might be fully reached. Just breathing here. This is big core work. Float just your hand down, step your leg across the other leg, and have a look back at your toes. See how that feels? And then swing that leg all the way over to the other side. Take your right hand to the sky and shake your wrist out. And then come on back to center. We'll do the same on the other side. So take the left leg back, toes are on the mat. Leg floats up just hip height. Reach back with your heel. Add your opposite arm as high as feels good to you. If you find that you went on the same side, you're just doing a much harder shape. Good. Float just your hand down, step your leg across. And then swing it out all the way over to the side. Maybe take a twist toward it and shake out your wrist. Okay. How about some planks? Let's explore some planks. Let your mat straighten out. Looking for a Goldilocks plank today. What's your plank today? Maybe it's right here. We just did it. Maybe it's all fours. Maybe it's stepping back with one leg. Maybe it's stepping back with both legs. Maybe it's bringing knees back to the mat a little further behind you. Watch your low back though. We don't want to drop into a sag here. We're going to keep our core engaged and hips a little bit lifted no matter what plank you've chosen. Go ahead and bring your knees down. Let's try one other plank. Bring your elbows to the mat and your knees to the mat. Or maybe toes and elbows. What's your plank today? Good. One more breath here. And drop it all the way down, forehead to hands. We'll come back in a minute and do one more of any of those options. But just let your body rest. And then let's swim a little bit, a little Pilates today. Arms out in front if that feels good to you. Otherwise, you could stack your fists and put your forehead on and just lift your legs. Maybe it's a flutter kick day. If it's a full swim day, come up arms and legs and swim a little bit. And we'll inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. One more set. Inhale and exhale. Nice. Bring your forehead to your hands and rest. And while we're on our bellies, let's bring arms back, palms up. And maybe this is your locust today. Maybe it's an arm locust day. Or maybe float your legs. What's your Goldilocks locust today? Good. Gently drop that back down. And come on up to all fours. One more time. Let's find a cat-cow. And while we're doing that, be thinking on your plank. What kind of plank would you like to hold for a few seconds? Here's a little tip though. If it's on your hands, press right here, spread your fingers wide, press right there, and keep a little bend in your elbows. Okay, just to protect wrists. So if you're coming up to a full plank, a toe plank, take a foot back, and without changing body position, take your other foot back. Here we are. If you're on your elbows, that's good. If you're on your knees, that's good. If you're on all fours, that's good too. Can you breathe here? Always find to come down to your belly and rest. Otherwise, let's stay here 3 more breaths. Good. Find your child's pose or your puppy dog. Which one's calling to you today? Release your wrists. Maybe bring your hands under your forehead or up overhead. Gently come back up. We have not done a down dog today, and it just doesn't feel right. So I think we need a down dog. And maybe this is your down dog today. Maybe all fours is it. Otherwise, check in with turning your toes under, see how that feels. Lift your hips. Keep your knees bent, though. Keep your legs bent. If it feels good, you could walk your feet a little bit. If it feels good, you could step back and straighten your legs out and let your chest drop down. What's your down dog today? One more breath here if you're still up. And then drop back down, knees wide, toes together. Sit back, child's pose, or stay up high for puppy dog. And then let's move over to our backs. Let's do a little Pilates here, a little core focus. But we're going to start off with dead bugs first. So bring your elbows and your knees up. So forearms and shins are parallel to the ceiling, roughly. Reach your right arm out overhead or leave it where it is. Stretch your left leg out long or leave it where it is. Bring it back. Do the same thing other side. You can leave your legs high or you can take them down low. Good. And then let's bring hands behind the head, and this isn't a mistake. Take your left elbow to your left knee. If you just took it to the right, see what it's like to change it back to the left. Take your right elbow to your right knee. And then just go back and forth between the two. Good. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Go ahead and drop it down. Last one. We're going to come up for the 100 before we stretch. So legs can be straight up in the air. You could lift your head up. We're going to reach our arms out and start to pump the arms. But if your neck gets tired, put your head down. If this feels pretty easy to you, you could choose to lower your legs a bit too. And we're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Inhale, exhale, in, and exhale. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Good. Draw your knees into your chest. Bring your feet to the floor. Take them wider on your mat. If your hips allow, let your knees drop together. So feet are wide, knees are together. Maybe stay right there. Or if it would feel good to you, let your legs rock back and forth. It might also be nice to look away from your knees. So if your knees go right, take your face over to the left. And then just switch. Good. And then come on back to center. We're going to do a few bridges. If plow or shoulder stand is in your practice, feel free to do those as well. But if you're liking the bridge, we're going to roll it up one vertebrae at a time, all the way to the top, and then drop it back down. And then roll it up, tailbone, sacrum, low back, mid back, up. And then reverse that, mid back, low back, sacrum, tailbone. Hold this one up. We're going to roll it up. Hold it here, squeeze your glutes, reach your knees away from your face, activate your bridge a little bit. If you like to lace your fingers under your hips, if you like to turn your shoulders back, all of those things are options. Good. On your next exhale, without articulating your spine, see if you can bring your torso all the way back to the mat. Yeah. Draw your right knee into your chest, and then your left knee into your chest. Take your legs and circle them around, little low back massage. And then we'll switch and go the other way. Good. Keep your right leg, take your left leg out long on the mat. Take your right knee up towards your armpit if that feels nice to you. Yep. And then bring it to center and straighten that leg up. If that means that you bend your other leg, that's completely fine. Let's circle the ankle a little bit. And switch and go the other way. Good. Take your right leg, that one that's up there in the sky, cross it over your other leg and pull your other leg in for a lying pigeon. Left leg could be straight. It could be bent. You could reach and grab both ankles. What stretch do you need today? And then unwind that. Keep your left knee. Take your right leg out long on the mat. Take your left knee up toward your left shoulder. And then straighten that left leg out. Get into the hamstrings a little bit. Feel free to circle your ankle or flex and point. And take your left leg over your right leg. We'll come into a lying pigeon on this side. Optional straight right leg. Or option to grab ankles. Good. Release that. Bring your knees back. We're going to get into our twist a little bit different today, just because we can control it a little better. If you turn on one side and stack your knees and stack your hands, and it's kind of wonky because head falls to the floor, but it'll feel okay in a minute. If you take your top hand and you drag it up your bottom arm, already head's now in contact with the floor, it could stay right here. It doesn't have to go any farther, but it could slide across your collarbones. It could even reach behind you. See how that feels? Good. We'll take that left hand and snake it back over the top, whatever one was reaching over. Snake it back over, and then just turn all the way to the other side. Stacking one hand on the other, and then slide it up the bottom arm. Maybe it stays right there. Maybe it goes across your collarbones. Maybe it reaches all the way to the floor. Notice if the two sides are different. And then slide that arm right back over. And feel free to come to your back. You could come to your back, you could keep knees bent, or you could stretch out long in Shavasana. Wherever you are, just kind of check in. Let your body be heavy and held by the earth. Let your belly be soft. Just let your breath be natural. Check in and notice how you're feeling. And then remember your intention from the beginning of class. Did you honor that intention today? Did you work in a way that your body was needing? And turn your attention to your breath. And just see if you can hold it there for about 30 seconds. When your mind wanders, and it will, just gently bring it back to the breath. Noticing the belly rise and fall, or the chest rise and fall, or the breath at the nostrils. And start to bring a little gentle movement back to your body. It might feel good to let your knees bend and sway. And then go ahead and turn all the way on one side. And help yourself to sitting. Let's take a breath together, with or without arms. May we dwell in safety. May we be happy and healthy. May we be at peace. Namaste.